Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to APIX 2023, the biggest APIX of all the time. We are very, very happy to receive you here today. We are honored to have you here, and hopefully, we will bring you and present you relevant content. My name is Natalia Cruz. I am the head of Open Finance from Sensedia. I am responsible for understanding what's happening in the open everything markets and bring those criteria back to Sensedia. We have been having a lot of contact with our customers and also with our invitees. We want to listen to your stories and, of course, evolve as a whole. So today we are going to have a panel, a very interesting discussion to talk about partner integration as a critical driver of digital transformation in modern companies. So basically, we're going to talk about partnership integration and how this movement can bring more revenue to your companies and also bring out more innovation and digital transformation. So it is my pleasure to invite the panelists, my friends, and we are going to have a panel uh, of only women. So that is Zanfolin, CEO of Rodobens. Please come to the stage. And now from Elo, Duda Davidovic. She is the head of innovation. And by Junto Seguros, CIO Karine Chaves, to please come here with us. Well, guys, so we are going to, this panel is going to last for about 40 minutes. And there's going to be a slot for you to send your questions. So on the screen, you can see there's a QR code and you can scan it and send all the questions. And we are going to read them by the end of the panel and share more information from our panelists. Well, guys, so let's get started. So first of all, thank you very much for being here. It is a pleasure to have you here. Once again, it is an honor to have a panel of women. So please introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about your companies, and tell us a little bit about the context of your companies. So let's start with Duda. Okay, hi guys. Nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me here. I am the innovation head at Elo. Elo is a credit card company. We are basically a hub of technology. Nowadays, we have over 40 million credit cards currently active that are accepted in basically virtually all the establishments in Brazil. When we think about technology, we are always trying to bring our more technologies and more products and to be able to connect buyers and sellers in a very fluid way. And also to think about, okay, what's going to be the future of this technology hobby? So I am responsible for testing and building our products, product portfolio. And I am very happy to have this discussion today because obviously we're going to have a lot of challenges and it's very interesting to talk about the partnerships and partner integration. Okay, thank you. Now, Karina. Hello, good morning, everyone. So first of all, thank you, Nati and Sensedia, for inviting me over here. It is a pleasure to be here with those two amazing women. We are definitely going to discuss a lot and exchange a lot of information. Well, I work at Junto Seguros. I am responsible for the technology, products, and data intelligence area. Junto is an insurance company, the first digital insurance company in Brazil. We currently work with warranty and also rentals. And the integration with partners. I mean, this is a whole world of innovation and digital transformation. This is something that's very present in our daily routines. So we are always seeking partnerships and interactions in order to grow up and give the best customer experience ever. Okay, great. Thank you. Now, Dani. Yes, Nachi, thank you, Nachi and Sensedia, for the invitation. It's great to be here, especially in this panel with women only. I am Dani Zanfolin. I am the technology head at Rodobens, which is a company with a story of over 70 years. We are the representatives of the Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, Hyundai, and we also have a foment bank. We also have insurance, an insurance company, and we also have over 3,000 sales points, and we currently have this challenge to transform this business to create more synergy with the customer experience and also integrate partners to offer the best solutions possible to meet the demands from our customers. Oh, that's great. Well, when we were putting this panel together, we were thinking about how to bring different contexts to talk about a single thing. And this is a subject that applies to all the industries. So I definitely believe this is going to be a rather rich discussion. So the first question that I have here is, what is the role of the partners integration within the digital transformation strategy of a modern company? So this is an open question. Whoever wants to answer it, please go ahead. Okay, I can talk about it. When we talk about digital transformation, the main objective that we have is to meet the demands from our customers. And when we try to meet these demands, we are not only thinking about the products that the company wants to offer or the services they want to supply. We are just thinking, okay, what do the customer need? So I believe that as we evolve with our digital transformation, we need to provide a better customer experience within this interaction with your company through this composition, this composite of innovations. So you have your product, you have your services, but inevitably you are going to have this integration between partners. And that's a vital part of the experience. So digital transformation and partner integration are linked to the differentiated customer experience that you're going to deliver. Okay, that's great. Yes, and building on what she said, I agree with her, of course. And another thing that I can say is that often we have our core business, and within this digital transformation, we know that there are several things that need to be done in order to achieve that. And it's not always possible to do that internally. So, and this is very, very important. It's not that you don't have the capability to do that. Maybe you don't have the skills to do that, but sometimes we do have the skills, but we cannot do that because our core business have many demands. So I always say that with the technology team, because more technical teams sometimes they feel kind of hurt when we hire third parties to help us out, and it's definitely not about that. It's about adding up, it's about aggregating, it's about interacting with a partner to be able to deliver more to our customers to meet their demands in a better way. So it is a complement to what we're doing. It is a way to add value to what you do and also to scale the business. Yes, absolutely. Because, I mean, if you have a team that can do everything, something is gotta be wrong. Because nowadays, there are no teams that can do everything or they have extra time on their hands. It just doesn't happen. So it's important to think about scaling up the business, but also to refreshing your team, because you can bring people from the outside with a different mindset to work with your team and to add to their knowledge. Yes, and building on what Karine said, to to think about our core business and thinking about days of operational efficiency, which is the age we are living in, the metaverse and those things. So how can we balance that to focus on our core business, but at the same time pursue those accelerators? So how do we do that at Elo? Our companies, they are like vessels, like big ships. So the ships are out on the water, they have a direction, but it's not easy for them to change routes. So the company needs to have this capability, this skill to deploy jet skis. So the company can, pursue the digital transformation or other pathways for technology and innovation that you must try in order to be able to win in a digital transformation area as the one that we're living in. So when we bring partners from the market, and my role in innovation is to talk to partners that are not even big companies yet. They're oftentimes startups and companies that breathe technology, but in a different way, in a way that us, as a huge company as we are, we cannot breathe that same air. So once we integrate those partners within our structure, they become accelerators, they become drivers. So it is a crucial component for us to bring to our structure of our strategy. We need to accept that we cannot do everything internally, and bring partners from the market is leaner, is smarter. We can try different things. We can have more accuracy in order to make better choices. Also, of course, thinking about the integration challenges that come with every integration. We have our own rules, we have our own systems, our own legacies, we have a reputation in the market. So we have this responsibility that we have to take care of. So they can definitely help with that. Yes, great. I actually, it broaches on the subject of the next question that is specifically about the new challenges. Karine mentioned about, okay, aggregating the new teams and integrating with the other partners. But what are the other challenges in the integration of partners? Well, I guess I believe that when you choose a partner to work with you, the main challenge is to understand which problem you're trying to address. Not only, I mean, technology involves a lot of trending, and we are always talking about how can we separate the trend from what's trendy. So you can bring something trendy, but is it going to address your problem? So I believe that this is the biggest challenge of all, is to understand what is your need, what you cannot do internally, and you can bring a partner to help you with that, but you need to map this problem, and you need to make a good choice when it comes to a partner. An RFI process will help you to equalize the characteristics of all the possible partners to help you out, so you can make the better choice at that moment. Of course, is a big challenge, a quite important challenge. Yes, absolutely. I agree with Ka 100%. And it actually brings out a reflection about um, how this partner is going to care for people, because sometimes we are always thinking about the technicalities, and of course this is relevant. It is how we are going to achieve the digital transformation, but it is quite important to also think about the culture of those companies, the drive they have, if they have clear objectives, to pay attention to where we are going to, what are the strategies, what's the communication like. So have this outlook on people is very important. It's much more than just talking about the technical point of view. So I just wanted to add that. Yes, absolutely. There is a whole thesis about what has to be integrated. So, who has who has ever thinking about ChatGPT here? Who here doesn't think we need artificial intelligence? I mean, if you don't have artificial intelligence in your market, basically you are getting left behind. That's what we think oftentimes. But is it really? Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't answer anything. It doesn't help at all. Yes, I believe in March we went to an event in Texas. There was an event about technology, and there is a futurist analyst, and she published a huge report of a huge amount of publications that you have to read. And I mean, if you suffer from FOMO, you're definitely going to have a bad time. So to me, of course, to some areas, it's definitely IA is going to be very important, but maybe for other business, not so much. For example, agribusiness, this is not so important. So we have to think about the moment of the company.
And today in innovation, we always think of integrating big partners, clouds, APIs. But when we talk about smaller partners, partners that maybe started their company not too long ago, or they have a structure that is a smaller structure, and oftentimes it means that these partners have perhaps not a compliance area that is up to the standard that our big companies have. So a lot of the times, the companies that we have, the questions that we have from these companies of information security, they may be really complex. And maybe it's the first time that these partners are looking at that type of question. And these are things that they may need to structure. So the point is, how do you adapt within your company this integration to the different stages of partners that you're able to have internally as accelerators? And how do you, as a company, play your role in the development and leveraging of these partners that you're integrating? Today, since I work with a lot of emerging technologies, a lot of the time these technologies have a lot of question marks surrounding them. Can they be used for the case that we have specifically internally? So it's also taking our partner in the by the hand and having a partner and not just a supplier. That's really important for us to be able to overcome challenges that may appear in our journey. An additional point, Nachi, oftentimes when we work with partner integration, there's a high chance it's going to work, but it can also not work. And I believe having this resilience inside the company and understanding that it is a learning and development process, and that a lot of the time it will go wrong, and we are going to have to look at that as a lesson learned in our journey, it's really important because it is a bet. It is a validation, it's a process of understanding, is this the right path or is it not? And this needs to be clear, especially for us to deal with the frustration that can generate. So it's a factor that we have been developing throughout time, culturally, because companies that have been around for longer usually are not as resilient with mistakes and lessons learned. Yes, and if you're willing to innovate, you need to be willing to make mistakes. You need to be willing to try. If you don't try, you don't make mistakes, and therefore you don't innovate. Yeah, you need to make your mistakes quickly and start again. It's an agile mindset. Great, and how are your companies integrating partners? What kind of examples do you have? Well, we're taking turns, right? But I think I can go first. Yeah, we don't have anything decided on that, but it's okay. Um, Today, we have very old partners that have been with us for a long time with innovation and transformation. Sensedia is one of those partners. And we understand that it is a type of partnership where throughout the entire journey, all the years together, we can bring challenges that may exist internally, and we're able to build this together with a partner. And we have almost an integration with a partner that has been working with us for a long time. So it's an integration of new products and evolution of what we already have and really building together. And I can talk more about my side. Before we make big decisions today for emerging technologies, we have a innovation lab where we work in two main steps. The first one is having an understanding of the business point of view, the opportunity and the business model that we have there. What is our view of that product? And once we believe in it, we understand that that should be tested and built. I have a development team also inside my structure where we test small parts of that solution so that we can, together with the partner, run the tests, take it to market, open a competition, and eventually putting this on an M&A flow and building this in a very integrated way so that it's done little by little, and always growing. So this has been really valuable for us because it shows us a path to be able to adjust what we're doing. And we always have to adjust. Sometimes we start with a project with a hypothesis and we get to the end and it's completely different. So, this adaptability and flexibility from the partners is definitely something that we seek, and it needs to be aligned with our way of working and our way of creating this flow. At Junto, we have something similar. We are not specifically an innovation lab, but we do have a structure that we call business development. And everything we want to turn to new businesses or something that is more disruptive, this structure is going to look at that first, closely working closely with technology because we are a digital insurance company. We understand that we can't do anything if we're not doing it together with tech. So when the business development team can understand it better, we have hackathons, we have inception sessions so that we can make this product more robust. And we understand that, okay, now is the time for you to be able to have a deployment. And then we move to another structure that is going to then organize that process. About your question relating to partners, I see different types of partnerships in the whole integration process. You have from an integration where you're seeking for partners that are more commodity providers, such as CRM, RPM. So you're not going to develop manually an RP or a CRM. You try to find the partners for that. You try to find a partner that can bring something new to your company. So a startup, like Duda said, we have the technology within the DNA of the company, and we may not have that yet, but we do need to bring that point of view somehow. And you have the big integrators that can also help you in that partner as a whole. In our case, we chose Sensedia, one of our partners. Nachi knows that. That's why we're here. And it's very important because at Junto, this integration is extremely strategic because through this integration, we see the possibility of bringing new businesses and therefore new revenue for the company. As I said, today we work with insurances and renting insurance, but today we want to work with other products. And one way we saw of making that feasible is through the use of APIs, integrating with the partners that can help us in this mission. They can be small, medium, or large partners, but having an integrator using an API to be able to create that bridge between you and the partner is something extremely important and has a lot of benefits for the company. In our case, hopefully, it will bring new businesses. Well, we also have a very strong partnership structure. Sensedia is one of our main partners, and it has helped us a lot with the development of a more digital culture within technology. And I brought a little bit of a different example. Since the partner strategy started in the organization strategy and became a business driver, Our whole market in Brazil grew a lot during the pandemic. So we had a lot of sales in Brazil, and it wasn't different for us in our company. From 2021 to 2022, this market grew 14%. It was almost 4 million quotas. So if we compare, it's not specifically a one to one comparison, but over 4 million people were using this financial system. And with that, the opportunities in terms of businesses grew a lot. And Rodobens saw this as with a big potential for our company. And why? Because this model of consortium is very regulated. It is regulated by our central bank. And the commercial process is not, well, it starts as an investment, and at a certain point, this customer is contemplated, and then the business model is more related to a type of installments or a long term contract. Some have 60 months and they can be up to 180. Some special groups can have longer periods of time. And Rodobanks understood that this opportunity of a very strong market with a very complex business, this model could be understood as a barrier and it became a partnership strategy. So we created this consortium as a service, and today we deliver a white label strategy. So a lot of these car finances that are in platforms or super apps, behind it we have the entire Rotobanks strategy, which is a business strategy, and also here driven by the technology assets. A lot of banks, you can go to a reseller and you buy the national consortium of that, but behind it we have the Rotobanks operation. Financial institutes that didn't have this product, they also were a part of it. So the partnership strategy became a business strategy. And for us, it was very important to have a completely orchestrated journey via APIs that is going to enable that strategy in the partner so the partner can have a 100% digital strategy since our APIs. And we also have some white label solutions. So for that partner that doesn't have just the app, we can deliver the app, which is a Rotobanks app, but it has the entire customer visual identification. For the partner, it's a B2C, but for us, it's a B2C to B. So, this entire business strategy that is made feasible through technology was a huge example of the power of this partnership and the enabling of partner integration with a business strategy within Rodobanks. Yes, regardless of the business, we see that APIs are in all contexts. Yeah, it's very similar, right, Nachi? Just connecting it with what Dani said. Well, you see that Rodobens is a company, it's a completely different business than our business, which is an insurance company. And this API integration is so powerful that the same way that in her business she's able to put an API and white label with the partners, on our side, we can do that with the insurance companies, the brokers. It's the same technology in different contexts, and you can innovate, you can accelerate your business, you can bring in new revenue, which is our case, and it's a similar case to their strategy. I that caught my eye because I'm saying, well, we're using technology to do the same thing, but with different end goals. But they're both related to strategy and bringing in new revenue. Yes, and Dani actually brought some examples of what they have, some results, and following the APIs, when you have an API catalog, a way of showing these APIs to have these integration with partners. We discussed about embedded insurance. So how you're going to make these new offers. I would like to know what kinds of results you've had, if you have any cases to share with us. I do have a case. But to explain my case, first I need to understand who here knows insurances. Do you know what that is? This type of insurance? I'm impressed. Sometimes I ask, and then two people raise their hand. Uh, this type of insurance, it's different. It's a warranty insurance. And when I was in an interview, I was talking to the CEO before I got the job. I was joking around with him. I said I did my homework. I studied so I could come here and talk with you. But until I came, I didn't know what exactly this type of insurance it was, you know? But well, I'm happy you know what it is. So the warranty insurance, how does it work? We have very clear markets where you can use it, which is the traditional market, so like civil construction. Today, any kind of construction, when you go into a process to get the type of work, you go into a warranty process to make sure you will be able to finish the process. And when you finish it, you also need a warranty insurance because you need to execute the project. The same thing happens for judicial processes. So, whatever kind of process you may have, you have the possibility of delivering a warranty insurance instead of having provisioned or compromising your cash flow to make sure that you can pay for the whole process. And where does the integration and API come in? We created a product which is called Fidelize, and we have the opposite process in the chain. Today, the broker comes to us through one of their customers, perhaps, and they need the warranty insurance for a process or for construction work. For the process, we have an integration, which is this product called Fidelize. And our partner is a startup. Obviously, we use AI to do that, but we sweep the entire judicial system in Brazil. They understand all the open cases that we have, and we give this to the broker. So these are the processes. Now you can go ahead and try to negotiate so that we can sell the insurance. So we with this product, we are doing the opposite negotiation chain between the agent and the broker company. And this was only capable through integration with a partner and APIs. In this project, we won 2 awards last year for innovation. On the White Forum, the 100 most innovative companies, and Sensedia, we were in the third place of the most innovative company because of this Fidelize product. It's something completely different in the insurance market. Being able to flip the chain. So you're not going to wait for the broker to come to you. You're going to go to the broker and say, hey, this is ready for you. Just go and negotiate. Wow, amazing. Congratulations. Well, for me, I think the best cases are the most simple ones and the most obvious ones. So there's one that we had at Elo, where today a great challenge that we have is card activation. You've all had experiences of receiving your card at home or requesting a card for your manager. And where's the card? When is it going to come? You're a bit anxious, like, I need this card to purchase something. So we saw that this waiting process was harming our some of our activation or retention metrics. So we brought in a market partner called Coblawa. They're a Mexican company, and we did something very simple with them. We integrated the entire courier that was going to deliver the card to a CRM rule. So every time it was shipped or it was reaching the customer's home and it would arrive to the customer's home, this customer had a communication saying what's the status, the benefits, talking about the types of promotions that they could use it as soon as they got the card. And we had amazing results. So we had an A/B test, and for the groups that received the card with this communication linked to it, we had an increase of 12% in the activation level. So it's a very big impact for our business. So a lot of the time, the best solutions are those that actually deliver value for the customer that was somehow lost and they didn't know where the customer was. And when they were impacted with the direct message saying exactly where it was, with context, with the benefits of the card, some specific benefits for the customer. We saw that that had a huge impact in their usage, better feedback, and for us, it's also an impact in our business, and it was very important. So I think that these are the cases that we actually feel braver to go into more complex cases or to go to the next step and keep going in that internally, right?
Well, Nati, talking about results, I have a case that I actually like very much. Well, nobody wakes up and says, wow, I want to buy a consortium. I mean, many people don't even know how that works. So, to have the opportunity to enter in customer journeys that probably wouldn't come to Rodobens otherwise was something that actually brought a huge customer portfolio opportunity and potential for us. So it is a very interesting lever when it comes to portfolio growth. And Rodobens has a quite complete range of products at Rodobens. So we had the opportunity to bring different synergies. And it all comes to this fast activation capability. So when we understood that the partnerships were strategic, we were able to increase our capability to integrate partners. So one thing that usually was a very complex process became something that became a lot simpler gradually. Okay, we talked about cases and amazing results, but now I want to ask a question to you. How about what not to do? What went wrong? Well, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Well, I guess I can go first since we are taking turns. So, okay, what not to do? Well, building on what Duda said, I can see that the biggest challenge for a CIO is to handle ambidextry. So it's to separate trend from trendy and to keep your business up and running and also to innovate. So I believe that this is one of the biggest challenges. So the first thing that I have to say about what not to do is don't go out like crazy just thinking, no, I have to start working with chat gpt right now because it's not going to solve anything. Okay, so this is very important. And I always say that whoever works with technology or whoever suffers from FOMO, we have to pay attention to that. The second point is thinking, map your problems so you know exactly what you're looking for in the market. Because, guys, I don't know about you, but I go insane because every day there's a new solution. It's impossible to keep up. So, 2 months ago, I was at Web App Summit, and there were over 900 startups presenting solutions of all different kinds and shapes. So, I mean, it's definitely maddening. So, I mean, to bring everything to your reality, to think about what is your problem, and then you will start building your scope. Then you start understanding what are the deliverables that you need, and then you go to the market and search for partners. And that's the best way to avoid mistakes. That's the first step. But of course, I am not going to say all the steps because I'm going to give this opportunity to my friends. Yes, there are definitely a few of them. First of all, the risk of not doing it cannot be bigger than the risk of doing it. And this is something that we always get stuck with. Okay, so if we want to change something in our legacy system, we always think of, okay, what's the risk of doing that? And sometimes the risk of not doing it is way higher than the risk of doing it. So how can we prepare our companies to be able to handle this ambidextry all the time? And another thing, another question is how comfortable are you with things, with how things are, how fast things are going? If you are comfortable, you're probably going too slowly. So, feeling uncomfortable because things are moving too fast or because things are uncertain, it actually tells us that we are doing it right at the right time and at the right place because nowadays things move too fast. So if we are feeling comfortable, it means we are probably already late. And of course, lastly, what I always hear when I talk to my peers, specifically in innovation, is whenever you bring innovations to the inside of your company, there's no silver bullet. You know, you've gotta have a strong stomach to accept errors, to accept mistakes. You have to be mentally prepared when it comes to budget, when it comes to governance. So in the long run, you don't stop exploring new things and innovations and transforming it into something repulsive. You know, something that people will just not want to do because nobody wants to be the CMO of the company, which is the chief mistaker officer. Nobody wants to be that person, and it's too easy to become that person if you don't have this culture of being able to try new things, to make mistakes. So this is something that has to be aligned with the entire team, with everybody who has to report results to the shareholders, and so I think there are cultural aspects that are inherent to the leadership of the company that go way beyond technology or not. It's about how to learn and how to conduct the right culture within our company. Yes, well, there's not much left to say. Well, but the way I see it, maybe we have made a few mistakes in the beginning, and I like the mistakes because they teach us things, and we have to be proud of what we learn from our mistakes. I like what you said about having a strong stomach because I believe that it actually educates. The professionals need to be able to learn from their mistakes. And in the beginning, when we started this technology movement, perhaps the IT team was pursuing very strongly the APIs and digital strategies. So we directed this energy to actually creating and building, and not so much into influencing our culture and changing our culture and bringing the business along with us. So I guess energy, when it comes to changing a culture, to changing mindsets, and to creating a strategy, it took us a while to actually be on the same page with the company. So when we are thinking about the strategy and the base of the company, everything is way more accurate. You actually can engage people and engage all the areas. So this is something very important. So where to focus your energy on? Focusing all of your energy only in the building phase is not so smart. There's even a say that we have. It's better to do something than to have it perfect. So it's not about waiting for everything to be done, because sometimes we want to have a strategy with all technology capabilities and skills. Yes, the great is the enemy of the good. And guys, this is the real life. It doesn't happen. You have to be running all the time. You're always going to have some technical issues. Nothing is going to be perfect all the time. So we have to understand that this process of being open to challenges and actually pursue that is very important. So I guess these are the main learnings. I'm not going to say that of the things that didn't learn, because everything helped us bring us to where we are. But these are learnings, and we are going to have new learnings, and this is just how things work. Yes, this is how we mature the process. Yes, and there's even another thing, another learning that I would like to share with you. I was just waiting to see if the other girls were going to talk about that. But it, I mean, to me, it has to do with the integration, API or otherwise, which is how important the architecture area is. In order to make an integration, it is crucial to have a view of the whole. So to understand your system map, to understand your system as it is, and also the to be. Otherwise, you won't be able to integrate anything. You won't be able to get to where you want to be. And especially when it comes to digital transformation companies where you have a lot of different squads working at the same time, sometimes you can have two squads working on the same thing. And I mean, so that's why it's important to have a very clear view of the architecture of your system so you can understand exactly where your integration is going to work, where it's going to be linked in the right way to be able to meet the demands of your business. So this is a key. And why am I saying that about the lesson learned, the what not to do? Because many times companies hire developers, they hire different profiles of professionals, but they forget about the architect, because of course he's a rather expensive professional. So sometimes we think that a senior developer can work with that, and okay, maybe they can do that if they have the skills of an architect. Otherwise, we are going to have a big problem here, mainly with companies that have a legacy systems and also the modern part. And if you have to deal with that all the time, and if you need to make quick deliveries when you need your legacy and you cannot impact your new system, I mean, so having this holistic view of the architecture is key. So today I wouldn't do anything involving APIs if I didn't have an architect overview first. Yes, I agree with that. And I actually lead the innovation lab in a blockchain. And we currently have architects and infrastructure people working together there. Because I mean, if I'm trying to create the company of the future, I cannot forget about all the strengths that we have in our system, that can of course be reused and that can be drivers or enablers. But I also need to be able to link those things together. Otherwise, you are just going to end up creating a Frankenstein monster, and it is expensive to integrate things. It's going to take time. Probably you're going to have to redo a lot of things, thinking about your current structure. And I mean, if we it can end up being way too expensive, or it can end up being just a project and never be put to action. So yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, well, what a discussion. Well, guys, we are actually at our final moments. We have received a few questions from the audience, and I'm going to start with the one from Julia Cardozo. So, when we have a global IT team, how to deal with the alignment of the local developers with the global standards? Well, it actually happened to me before, not in my current company, but I have already worked at Telefonica, where many premises came from our global team. And the answer is the same. The architecture team needs to be able to guarantee that it is going to work. The standard needs to leave from, needs to start with the architecture team. When I worked in Telefonica, we had a global team and we also had an architecture local team. Those two teams talked to each other, and they both had the standards of what had to be, of what could be done. And obviously, there was some autonomy to our local process, because I mean, there's a framework we have to follow, of course, when it comes to premises, when it comes to partners or architecture designs. But there is also some autonomy for the local part to operate. But again, without the outlook from an architecture team, it's not possible to do that. So we have to have this alignment from the global and the local teams. Yes, yes. I actually leave something similar in another company, but maybe I'm not going to have such a political answer such as yours, because I mean, Brazilian people just love you just love a pickle. We love to say no, it's not gonna work. We can work around that. We love a work around here. And of course, in the other company, we had an e-commerce with global standards and pickles that some things that we had here in Brazil that we wanted to negotiate all the time, that we wanted to flexibilize all the time. So this dialogue between architectures and developers, they happen all the time. Of course, it was not always friendly, but okay, that happened. Okay, guys, thank you. Okay, we have a few other questions the audience sent, and I thank you very much. But we only have the time for one more question. Okay, so of course that they can help you with the answers after the panel. So the second question is from Marcelo Silvestrin, and he asks, in a world focused on operational excellence, how to engage this level with SLAs? Do you have KPIs that can help us with that? Well, the first point is how much this partnership is in line with your strategy. And the more it's related to a business KPI, the better we can make sure that we are going to have a successful strategy. So, for example, if your strategy is to bring out more customers, we have to grow to connect that, translating those indicators with, for example, customer satisfaction. So the KPIs have to be linked to the strategy. And the more they are linked to that, the higher your chances of success. So, of course, sometimes this is not the expectation from the C level, but basically this is what you have to do. I'm sorry, what were the KPIs? That's what the question was? Yes, your suggestion of KPIs. Okay, well, if you want to sell something to a C level, the first thing, data. Second thing, business. Technology on itself is nothing if not to serve a purpose from the business. So I definitely agree with what you said. And I believe that in terms of technology, we need to create technological KPIs that lead to the business results, just like Danny said. In order to sell the idea, there are a few things that we can do. So, for example, if you don't have the skill internally in your company, you may present the skills your team has and what the skills that you need, depending on the product or the service. You can create a business plan in order to understand what are the benefits that this is going to bring to the business. And of course, there are some difficulties. For example, there are projects that bring out revenue. There are others that improve your indicators, or team morale, or employee experience. Because without the employee experience, we don't have a customer experience. So to seek KPIs that show that definitely can help. If we're thinking about a structured project, we cannot bring KPIs about revenue. But if you have agile teams, for example, you can bring indicators about team productivity, about code errors, or about the evolution of your deliverables, or how fast you can deliver uh, this efficiency for your system map. So I always look at the KPIs under through the lenses of the person who is going to have to be involved in that. So how can I link my KPIs to the deliverables that team needs? Because the indicators for technology only are not going to cut it. Okay, guys, thank you very much. I believe, I love this interaction. I believe the audience also liked it because we received a lot of questions. It's a pity that we weren't able to answer to all of them, but thank you very much for your audience. It was great to be here with you.